Question. Often when we make tahdhir of the people of bid'ah, the people say you shouldn't make tahdhir before giving nasiha in private. And they also say that you shouldn't mention names because it is against the sunnah and it causes fitna. What is the tafsir concerning this? Or what is the detail or the understanding of this? No doubt, ikhwan, as it relates to the affair of tahdhir, then Ahlul Sunnah have a number of principles and a number of qawa'id that we work with, or that they work with, the ulama of Ahlul Sunnah, in regards to the affair of tahdhir. To warn against an individual, JazakhaAllaah Khair, to warning, making clarification or warning against an individual, that is tahdhir. As far as the affair of this warning is concerned, then that which our scholars are upon, ikhwan, and that which we've heard from more than one of our mashayikh, is that it is not a condition that a person sits in private with an individual to warn against a bid'ah or an innovation that has occurred from that individual in a public gathering. That if that individual makes a statement in a public gathering, ikhwan, and that has spread upon the ears of an individual, then we do not necessarily make tabdi' of that person. We don't say on the basis of a mistake that person makes that he's a mubtadi'. But as far as now having to give him nasiha, or having to advise him in private, and that is a condition before making a warning against him, then that is not the case. For indeed, as our scholars, they mention, ikhwan, if his mistake has been made public, or if that bid'ah was spread in public, if that mukhalafah of the sunnah was spread in public, then it is permissible to warn and to clarify as it relates to that mukhalafah. Likewise, in a similar forum to the forum in which that statement was made. That, though, does not mean that if that individual, ikhwan, is spoken to, and he himself decides to correct that mistake himself in public, then that is awla. And that is the origin, if he is able to do so. By that, a person protects his own honor, and likewise returns to the haqq in the most noble of manners, without anyone having to refute him in public and so on. That he himself clarifies his own mistake in public. And no doubt, as Allah Azza wa Jal mentions in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَكْتُمُونَ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْبَيِّنَاتِ وَالْهُدَى مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا بَيَّنَّاهُ لِلنَّاسِ فِي الْكِتَابِ أُولَئِكَ يَلْعَنَهُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَلْعَنَهُمُ اللاعنون إِلَّا الَّذِينَ تَابُوا وَأَصْلَحُوا وَبَيَّنُوا فَأُولَئِكَ أَتُوبُ عَلَيْهِمْ وَأَنَا التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. That Allah mentions that indeed those who hide that which is present from the bayyinat wal huda, that which Allah Azza wa Jal has revealed from the bayyinat, from the clarity and the guidance, after we have clarified that to the people, those who hide that, these are the individuals who Allah Azza wa Jal has cursed, and they are cursed by all those who curse. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ تَابُوا, except those who make tawbah. وَأَصْلَحُوا, and they rectify their mistake. وَبَيَّنُوا, and they make it clear. فَأُولَٰئِكَ أَتُوبُ عَلَيْهِمْ وَأَنَا التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. Then these are the ones who I turn to and accept their repentance, and I am at-Tawwab ar-Rahim. I'm the one who accepts tawbah, and I am ar-Rahim. And so the scholars mention, as it relates to that verse, that the clarification that comes from Ahlul Bid'ah, or the person that was upon an innovation, revolves around the three things that Allah Azza wa Jal mentions in the verse. Because oftentimes people misunderstand it. He's made a mistake, speak to him, give him nasiha in private, and if he makes tawbah, then khalas, that is between him and Allah. That is not the case, ikhwan, as it relates to a mistake that has been mentioned in public, in a public gathering. And it is upon the ears of now a number of individuals from amongst the Muslims. That now returns back to these three principles, or these three issues that Allah Azza wa Jal mentions in the Quran. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ تَابُوا, after mentioning the one who hide the huda, hide the guidance, and the bayinat, that they are cursed, Allah Azza wa Jal mentions, except الَّذِينَ تَابُوا, those who make tawbah. وَأَصْلَحُوا, as far as tawbah is concerned, then tawbah is in regards to that which is between him and Allah. That he makes tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive him for his mistake, and for spreading that mistake and so on. That is between him and Allah. وَأَصْلَحُوا, and that they rectify the mistake. So if it was a lecture that he has given, then he gives another lecture nullifying the first lecture. If it was a khutbah, then he gives a khutbah nullifying that khutbah. If he wrote a book, that he writes a book nullifying that book, and so on. وَأَصْلَحُوا, or if it was, for example, that he caused some effect, or it caused some issue that led to problems among the Salafis, people taking a stance, for example, in regards to the Salafiyun, on the basis of a statement that he makes, then he goes back to those same individuals and he rectifies that mistake. So, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ تَابُوا وَأَصْلَحُوا وَبَيَّنُوا, and that they make the bayan, that they make clear, they clarify. And so these three things, Tawbah, that is between him and Allah; Islah, that is that he rectifies whatever it is that he did that opposed the Sunnah; wal bayan, that after him making Tawbah and rectifying his mistake, that he clarifies and makes bayan to the people. Then Allah Azza wa Jal mentions, it is these individuals that I will turn to and I accept their repentance, and I am at-Tawwab ar-Rahim. So those are the principles, ikhwan, that relate back to accepting, or back to the Tawbah and the rectification of a person who opposed the Sunnah, and that was spread in public. And that, as we mentioned, it is not a condition that nasiha first has to be given to that individual. But what we see from our scholars, the likes of Shaykh Rabi' ibn Hadi al-Madkhali, Hafidhahullah, Shaykhna, and the other Mashaykh of al-Madinah, and our scholars, ikhwan, up and around the Arabian Peninsula, that we see from them, ikhwan, that ordinarily and generally they give nasiha prior to writing against those individuals that they speak against, prior to putting out those tapes, prior to mentioning them in lectures and so on. That they give nasiha to them initially. But it is not a condition. If it is done, then that is Khair. But it is not a condition, ikhwan, and that no doubt needs to be understood. And that is that which is to be said concerning that. Wallahu ta'ala.